And welcome to Module 2 of this Online Research Methods course. In Module 2, we will be concentrating on the literature review, which is a key part of the conceptual phase of the research process. In this lesson, we will simply define the literature review, recognizing it both as a tangible output that you produce in written format when you are conducting a research project, and as an active and continual process that helps to inform different stages of the research process. Let's start out by talking about what the literature review is in terms of its output. The output of the Lit Review should be a comprehensive and focused written summary of existing research and literature relevant to the topic that you have chosen to investigate for your dissertation research project. This written document should achieve certain things like describing, synthesizing, and critically evaluating theories, findings, and developments in the field of study, covering both older ideas and how they have developed or changed over time, as well as up-to-date, newer developments and even controversies and debates. In effect, the Lit Review, in its written form, demonstrates your expertise in the area and should also serve the very valuable purpose of providing readers with a concise yet comprehensive and clear overview of the topic and all of its relevant issues. The final output is an important part of any piece of research, especially a dissertation. When you reach the stage of writing up your dissertation, you will devote an entire chapter to this written review. This will be read and evaluated by your supervisor and will go towards determining whether or not you have delved deep enough into your topic and exhaustively covered the existing research in order to develop a good research project yourself. Depending on the requirements of your program, the literature review could be anything from a 2,000-word review up to a 10,000-word review. Though please be aware that this upper limit is reserved exclusively for those writing a PhD thesis rather than those doing an undergraduate or a master's level dissertation. Importantly, the literature review component of your dissertation should provide the theoretical framework for the research project that you are going to carry out. The Lit Review, however, is not merely a chapter in a larger document that you produce at the end of the research process so that your work can be assessed. It is, in fact, an ongoing process that involves finding, reading, and reviewing existing research that is relevant to your chosen topic or issue, and that ultimately helps you to become an expert in your chosen domain. Importantly, the process of reviewing literature is integral throughout the research process in helping to inform different decisions that you will make about your project at different stages. It will help to inform the topic that you choose, and it will help to refine this and come up with a research question. It will also help you to frame your research question and make sure that your research is conceptually grounded in theory. It will help you to identify and choose an appropriate methodological approach and data gathering tools and techniques that are suited to answering particular types of questions. Moreover, it will help you to develop an analytic framework to use in dealing with and analysing your data. So whether you are reading the literature because you are in the middle of trying to conceive of an idea for your project, or because you are trying to develop a methodology to answer your question, the Lit Review process and the research development process really go hand in hand. As you will see in later videos, the role of the Lit Review in the research process grows and evolves as your research project becomes more mature and develops. You might remember in lesson 1.3 that we talked about different stages of the research process, and one of the earliest stages was the Lit Review. At the time, I commented that it may actually be a little bit misleading to present the Lit Review as a distinct stage. It is true that the conceptual phase will be dominated by the Lit Review process, but it is not really true to say that the Lit Review ends once you have defined a research question. At every stage of the research project planning process, you should be reading papers, although the focus of your reading will change depending on where you are at in the cycle. That brings us to the end of lesson 2.1 and our introductory overview of the Lit Review. The most important message to take away here is the distinction between the Lit Review as a tangible written output that is placed within your written dissertation, and as a process of reviewing literature which ultimately is necessary for producing a Lit Review, but is also crucial for informing the research process and ensuring that your research is carried out to a high standard. In the next video, we will talk more about the role that the literature can play in your research process and the various reasons for consulting the literature at different stages. Thanks for your attention.